how to create a rustic idyllic garden, and how to choose elements and plants so that everything is cohesive. Good morning, my dear friends. Peaceful village, cheerful village, one could say. Listen, I've come to a place that when you see it, you'll definitely be delighted. To another garden as part of the Wow Garden project. Out to the countryside, to a pastoral garden, to Marta, who will soon tell us about the history of this garden and explain what elements she uses to make this idyllic atmosphere even more visible. If you're curious about how this garden will change throughout the year, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because we'll come back here again at the end of summer. And be sure to write whether you like this rustic style or if you prefer something more formal. Listen, we've come to Rainbow Valley, and Marta is the owner of this beautiful rustic garden. I'd like to find out how you create this garden. A warm welcome to you.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you.
Shall we go take a look?
Let's go take a look. I can't wait to show you the corners of this beautiful idyllic garden.
Great, let's go. Marta, right from the start, I'd like to know the history of this place, because that's usually very important for the people watching. When did you actually start creating this garden, and how did it all begin for you?
The subtitles, this garden has a long history because it's 20 years old. We moved here to this meadow, and I think we started in the usual way with a lawn and thuja trees, meaning we marked out this part of the garden with a kind of hedge. And then over the years, I just kept cutting out more and more of the lawn into flower beds, because subtitles.
Because you just wanted to?
So that, because I wanted to have as many flowers as possible, you know, because I grew up in gardens like my mom's and grandma's, and they always had a lot of flowers. So I wanted to gradually bring that into my own garden.
Subtitles. Yes, the final, let's say, garden, well, it's still being created, of course, because we'll talk about the plans in a moment too. But the final idea that it should be just like that, was it like that right away when you decided to make the change, or is it more like this now? Chaotic creation of some kind of space somewhere?
You know, there's definitely a bit of chaos in it, because I also have quite a chaotic, impulsive personality, but I never wanted a very formal garden. I was never drawn to that, and I think I've always had it in my blood and somewhere in my thoughts and in my mind, and I create it intuitively, but always those soft lines, always like that, so that there would be peace, so that the garden would surround us, so that the plants would be close. So that's what I cared about, that atmosphere, not about individual plants or even the plants themselves. It's not about flowers, just the atmosphere.
About the whole thing a bit romanticized.
Yes, a little, very relaxed.
And where did you get your knowledge or inspiration from? Did you have a place that was an inspiration for you?
Well, definitely my grandmother's gardens. Definitely my grandmother's. Na pewno były to... all my great-grandmothers and my two grandmothers, and I knew all those great-grandmothers too. They all had country gardens, and I just spent time in those gardens. My grandmother, who came from that town and has passed away, always had stacks of books and gardening magazines, since knowledge wasn't as accessible then as it is now. Now it's not even worth mentioning. You just go online and you have the answer to every question and tons of inspiration. I remember back then, well, it was mainly my grandmother here who influenced me the most.
You could say her vibe is what makes it idyllic.
That's how I feel and think, yes.
Great. Tell me, if you had to pick just one frame and say this is the frame that defines that idyllic feeling, what would it be?
I think it would be the one where we're sitting here, because for me, the symbol of that idyllic feeling is chamomile flowers. We usually call them chamomile, but actually these are oxeye daisies. And I have a lot of them in my garden.
And that white fence, which is somewhere over there, yes?
Yes, 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 next to that fence, so it's really small.
All right, I know how oxeye daisies behave, that they bloom for a short time. What happens next? How does it happen? They'll finish blooming here soon.
Yes, well, that's their only downside, because right now they're in their prettiest phase, spreading out like this. But unfortunately, when I see that they're starting to look dirty and are fading, you just have to cut them down low. And also, don't dig them up because they're perennials, so let them spread. But I do plant some annuals in between, for example, just to fill up the flower beds so they're blooming all the time.
I have another question, but this one is for the viewers, because these daisies really remind me of a rustic vibe. And what about you? Which plants do you associate the most with that kind of idyllic country garden? Be sure to write it in the comments. Marta, is there a place for wooden elements in a rustic garden?
Oh, absolutely. I think that wood, stone, and other natural materials fit perfectly into the atmosphere of a rustic garden.
And is there room for various climbing plants?
Yes, yes, of course. Clematis, ivy, and roses as well, of course.
So listen, I have a gift for you from our partner Jagram. I brought various types of trellises, both smaller and larger ones. Will you find a place for them?
Oh, definitely. I'll definitely come up with something.
So I'll see when we come next time where they found a place and if maybe something is already climbing on them. We have 3 pieces here, so you can display them however you like and put them where the plants will grow. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
My dear friends, if you're interested in wooden garden elements, trellises, obelisks, or gazebos, go to the Jagram website, enter the code Hubert Lamański, and you'll get an instant 10% discount on all items from the Jagram website. Marta, your garden is divided, as I've already noticed, into 3 main zones. The home garden, yes. Let's say the kitchen and utility garden. Utility, yes. And the meadow garden, which we're standing in front of. Yes, the meadow part.
My favorite?
Your favorite?
This is kind of my playground.
Oh, nice. The meadow, so a playground. Yes. Tell me, how do you create this place? What is the main element here that should be in a meadow garden like this?
Is the main element that guides me in creating this meadow garden the closeness to the meadow? And I always wanted it to be something blended into the meadow, like a tamed meadow, but still in that wild meadow. Well, there wasn't the kind of flower selection that I needed and wanted, so I keep sowing mainly because these are mostly annual flowers. I also plant perennial flower beds to enjoy them longer and let them spread. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. So when we come in the summer, there will be other plants? Yes. Dahlias probably?
Maybe even cosmos and zinnias by then.
Cosmos will already be there because they grow fast. Yeah. Okay, here, it's really nice at your place because it's actually a narrow area, right? Just in case. At the very end, we have a tree that really draws attention, and there are little paths leading to that tree. They lead there.
So a winding path, twisting among, and the idea was that it would be among flowers mixed with grasses, but this is the first year of cultivating this part. So the wild grasses have kind of taken over the flowers a bit. There are some spots with purple here and there, some white as well, but generally it's tall grasses and a winding, twisting path.
Yes. It might be worth adding that if you want to see more shots from this garden, go to Marta's Instagram profile. Dolina Tenchi, because Marta also takes photos and uses these beautiful settings, this beautiful garden, to take nice pictures of people.
This is like my own natural outdoor studio.
Isn't it great? Too bad the weather isn't always nice.
Right? Preparing this takes much more effort than just hanging a studio backdrop. You really have to work hard, but the in-person experience is much more intense.
I'll ask you later about how much you work in this garden, but for now, let's go see the individual clusters of plants.
Let's go.
Marta, personally, when I think of a rustic garden, a country garden, or even just any garden, I can't imagine such a garden without a functional area like this. Well, if it's bigger, you can call it a kitchen garden, and if it's smaller, it's a vegetable patch, and that's the part we're in at your place. Tell me, what should such a zone, such a garden, let's say a kitchen garden, consist of?
In my opinion, important elements in a kitchen garden are things like a wooden fence that separates different sections in the garden. It's also good if the vegetable garden is somewhat sheltered from the wind, but this little fence doesn't do much since it's tiny. And greenhouses, of course, should be in the sun so you can grow tomatoes or peppers.
Or vegetable beds?
Vegetable beds, yes, and in our case they're actually made from reclaimed bricks, which is also a sentimental element for me because those bricks were salvaged from an old cottage that used to stand here, so that's how it is. And various kinds of trellises, let's say supports for plants.
And what kind of plants should there be? I mean, I know everyone does it their own way, but in your opinion, in a real kitchen garden, what plants are a must?
In my kitchen garden, meaning the way I run the whole garden, it's in a pretty relaxed style. There aren't any perfectly straight rows or super well-weeded beds here. So the vegetable plants are mixed in with flowers and herbs. Here, everything, even poppies, are allowed to grow if I see they've self-seeded. So everything here is meant to bloom, smell nice, please the eyes, and create this atmosphere.
I saw that here on the flower bed in front of us, there are calendulas. So when they start to bloom, it will actually get colorful here as well. Yes.
Yes, different colors of kale. Well, for me, it's nice when all the senses are engaged in the garden.
Oh, great. Yes, that's very important. My dear friends, at every step you can really feel that country garden atmosphere here. Marta mentioned that this year she actually set up a real greenhouse for the first time where she'll have tomatoes. That's why, from the company Sumin, the partner of this year's WOW Garden project, I brought you a variety of tomato fertilizers here. both organic and suitable for organic farming, because you have larger areas, so you'll need more. And for spring, something like this, a transplanting product, a biostimulant, here you go.
Maybe even for autumn, I'll definitely use it up sooner. Thank you. For autumn?
Yes, because you do it in autumn too.
Thank you.
In a rustic garden, of course, there have to be wooden elements, just like you mentioned. You have a few basic wooden ones. We're standing by one of them. Fences. You must like these fences, yes.
I really, really like fences.
What is their purpose?
The one we're next to is mostly just for decoration. For me, it's a kind of separation. Besides being pretty, just a nice element, it's a way to separate the functional part from the meadow area.
What other elements do you have? I noticed a large wooden one over there.
Chicken coop.
Chicken coop and duck house.
Yes, yes, yes.
Duck house and chicken coop. And what? Are there chickens and ducks there all season?
Yes, no, they manage, they don't fight, so they live there quite happily. Since my husband enjoys woodworking, I take advantage by coming up with ideas for him to make. His willingness depends on how much time he has. Yes, so all those fences, little houses, swings.
But you have, speaking of those different elements, you have one element that's right in front of us. It's nice, and that's the classic outhouse, right?
Outhouse, privy.
Yes.
Yes, but it also has to be pretty, exactly. For me, even that privy or that garden outhouse has to be pretty.
And it's really very, very nice and aesthetically pleasing. Just look at it. Marta, we're in the central part of your meadow. Tell me, do you have any more plans for this meadow? What would you like to do?
Definitely more flowers.
So perennial ones.
So annuals? No, not perennials, because with annuals you have to work on them every year. I just have to organize things so that I can, for example, drive some equipment onto the flower bed, but with perennials I can't do that, right? More annual flowers, but it's more about taming those wild grasses so the flowers can stand out, because for now the wild grasses have kind of taken over here. They're beautiful too, those waving fields, well, around here. I love it, but still my eyes need colors. After all, this is the Rainbow Valley, it has to be colorful.
Exactly, so maybe we have a question for the viewers. Maybe you can suggest what flowers Marta could use in such a sunny spot? Yes, very much so. A very meadow-like area, which is actually a bit marshy.
A little, right? The soil is generally good?
Generally, the soil is good, but the flowers should be colorful. There should be lots of colors. Let me know which ones, and I still have a question for Marta. A question that I feel is the most important one I ask everyone when I visit their gardens. How much time do you spend to make it look the way it does? In a day?
In a day? Well said, because that leaves a little time for sleep. Just a little. That's the truth. Just a little.
Time? 6 hours, 7 for sleep? No.
Well, you need about 8, yes?
And the rest?
It's a never-ending story. Well, of course, it depends on the weather, but it's whole days of work, though not so hard on your knees, because that's not the point either. I'm not doing this to wear myself out. Wear myself out, but simply even a break from work here is a kind of rest. You recover very quickly here. So even if I work for 2 or 3 hours, it's enough for me to just walk around here, look around, pick some flowers, because that's the other part of this work. Later I dry the flowers or, I don't know, arrange them into compositions. That's also work, but it's the fun kind.
So, besides that, you also have a regular job, so you could really say, dirty hands, clear mind, right? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
We absolutely recommend giving it a try. Marta, does a rocking chair fit into a rustic atmosphere?
Oh, absolutely. I love all kinds of swings. I have several of them in my garden, but there's always room for another one, and I'm sure I'll find a branch for it.
I'm really glad because I also brought you some gifts from our partner Allegro. Here's a rocking chair for you. What a great day. In addition, there's also a set of bulb baskets because you'll need to plant those soon, and to save water, since you need to water quite a bit here, there's a drip irrigation hose. I think it'll work great, especially if you use it somewhere for your vegetables. It'll definitely come in handy. You won't have to...
No.
I don't have experience.
I haven't used a drip hose like this before, but I've always been curious.
It'll be very useful for vegetables.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. On Allegro, my dear friends, we have many products for the garden and for decoration, so if you're planning to shop, I encourage you to check it out there. And if you're planning bigger purchases, check out the Allegro Pay payment option, because there you can postpone the payment, for example, for 30 days or split it into very convenient installments. In a moment, my dear friends, we'll be finishing. We're finishing our walk around this garden, but as is tradition this year, we have what's called quick questions for our participants. And the first question goes to Marta. Coffee with milk or without?
Now without, for the past few years, but my whole life it was with milk.
Question number 2. Apple tree or pear tree?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Come on, which one?
You know what? I have 2 apple trees. I really like them, but I think pears taste better.
Spring tulips or autumn asters?
Autumn asters, but not the annual ones that you sow, because you can have those too. I have those sometimes too, but I mean Michaelmas daisies.
So the perennial ones?
I love them, I adore them, I really do, and they've been with me for years. For practically 20 years they've been in my garden, because I brought them from my grandmother's garden.
Do you prefer to look at your garden in that golden light at sunset, or rather in the morning? Oh.
Well, that's a tough question too. Mornings are so fresh and very peaceful, but in the summer that's around 5 a.m. and the golden hour in the evening in summer is also wonderful, so it's half and half.
If you had to choose a hedge for your garden, would it be a hedge of evergreen plants or rather of flowering shrubs?
Definitely flowering shrubs. A quick decision.
Look, well, you can really see it. Marta, this is actually the finale of our visits to your garden. We'll walk along this beautiful path among the camomiles.
Can you smell it? I can.
I can smell it, and I can't wait for us to come here in August, because there will probably be a profusion of flowers here.
The height of summer, a completely different blooming festival in the distant cosmos, so...
You're welcome. I know she's already inviting us because we've already made plans. Yes. In the meantime, if anyone wants to check it out, we invite you to our Instagram, Dolina Adolina Techi. And see you soon.
See you soon.
Hi.